Welcome to Power Talks, a podcast designed for technology, trends, and insights. Hi, welcome to our fifth and the last episode of our AI in QA series, where we'll be talking about the future of AI in QA. Joining us is Shrish Ashtaputre. He is the head of QA and DevOps at Calsoft with 25 years of experience in IT engineering. So, Shrish, last episode of our AI in QA series. So, in your opinion, how do you think AI is going to evolve in QA in next 3 to 4 or 5 years?
Okay, so in my opinion, QA will become autonomous. There will be a lot of use of agentic AI. These little agents, each designated to do the particular task,
Right.
like test authoring, test automation, test validation. So these kind of things, I think we will see very soon in next 3 to 5 years.
What role will autonomous testing system play in continuous delivery?
So they will definitely improve the overall productivity, like these agentic AI based workflows, where there are designated agents for each of the activity. So I think there will be a lot of reliance on these machines who will play these vital activities in your software development life cycle. So that way there will be significant productivity gains, and the product engineering teams will truly achieve the continuous testing beyond traditional automation.
So, in the previous episodes, when we released them, we got a very common question, which is how QA intersect with AI-driven functions like security and performance testing.
Right. So, in my opinion, all these things basically roll into your AI strategy. So, how do you basically train the AI models for particular type of testing, the particular domain context, these kind of things? Essentially, be it a performance or security validation or even the functional validation. So I think all these areas will roll into your overall AI implementation strategy, and they will definitely benefit from the validation perspective.
And what risks and ethical consideration a QA team or a QA leader must consider before it takes a big AI decision?
Right. So I think the bias in AI is real because the output depends on basically the kind of training data that you have. So you have to have basically a very clean contextually correct training data for your models. Over reliance on AI systems could also be a challenge. So just because the output is produced by AI, it may not be always correct. So validating that output will be very, very important for QA organizations. So I think these ethical challenges are going to be real when we implement AI in QA. So having basically these some mitigations in place to make sure that we kind of deal with these issues is going to be very important.
So, before we take audience questions, Shirish, what, in your opinion, how an organization should future proof their QA strategies?
Definitely a lot of trainings, making sure that QAs have access to these advanced tools so that they can try their hands on. Basically, trying to map their use cases with basically the AI advancements which are going into the industry, and coming up with some real use cases which will have a direct positive impact on their product development life cycle are going to be some of the important areas.
Yeah, thank you, Shirish. Let's take audience questions. What's the biggest threat if QA does not evolve with AI?
Okay, so I think use of AI is really prominent, and it is increasing every day. So they should not be left out if they do not understand the implications that the AI is bringing in. So making sure that they stay current, stay updated, and the speed, which I always see as a very important factor these days, to making sure that they deliver at speed, the required speed of basically software deliveries. We must adapt AI, and they should basically learn as quickly as possible about these new age tools.
Yeah. So, next question. Could AI introduce bias into testing processes, and how do we mitigate it?
Of course, yes. So bias is real in any AI system. So if the data is skewed, the data has a lot of noise in it. Of course, the results will not be better. So making sure that you have a clean, less noisy data, and which is aligned to the domain context of your application under test is super important. So basically making sure that before even you adapt any AI strategies in your QA, uh, doing the deep analysis of your data and making sure that it aligns with your AI strategy is super important. So these are some of the, I would say, pre-activities that any organization should do before they actually implement the AI in QA.
So, last question of the episode, and also the last question of the
Okay.
series. How will regulation like GDPR and AI governance frameworks affect QA?
So, okay, so basically, when any application is being tested, there has to be the data is the most critical aspect of that. How you test your application, what data you use to test your application, to validate your application is very critical in making sure that it basically is very relevant from the end user perspective. So when we test any application, how do we basically anonymize the data? How do we mask the data? How do we basically strike the balance between the real data and the synthetic data are going to be the key factors. So even if we are using AI, and even if we need to basically train these AI models on the domain specific or contextual data understanding, having basically these key considerations, that we are not revealing, we are not feeding the very sensitive information to the models, we are also complying with basically standards such as GDPR or other industry standards, is going to be super critical. So that's a step that every QA organization needs to take before they actually start using AI or start training the AI models on their domain specific or application specific information.
So, thank you, Shrish. Thank you for joining
Thank you so much for
us.
having me. It was pleasure speaking.
And I am sure the audience have loved this series, and we have got a lot of questions so far, which we can address in the next time you visit
Absolutely, yes.
us. Thank you for watching this episode till the very end. If you have any questions and queries, please feel free to write to us at marketing@calsoftinc.com. If you have missed any episode from the series, you can find the details in the description. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next time.